a common food choice may not be the best choice. So you have to sort of decide what the family eats and what is a good diet for your child. So so you have the healthy plate. You can see here, which gives you an option that you have to choose food options from each of these groups for your children. You're talking about having carbohydrates. So instead of white rice or white porridge, I think a bit of brown rice and whole grain cereals are always healthier. So you may not need to make a drastic switch because wholemeal grains tend to be a bit coarser in texture. So not every child accepts that, but you could start with a little bit and then slowly increasing it over time. Now, in terms of meat and fish and that protein group in the blue on the healthy plate picture, this is a group that's very important. You've got quite a few options in this group because you've got plant protein, you've got animal protein, you've got tofu, you've got fish. So try to avoid the processed versions. For example, instead of chicken nuggets, you may want to make your own chicken nuggets with chicken lean meat, rather than just buying chicken nuggets in the frozen pack. So there are certain options that you may have to substitute in order to give your child a better diet. Now, when it comes to fruit and vegetables, you've got lots of options. Okay, so different fruits taste very different. Some children would eat certain fruits only and not others. That's fine. So as long as you make sure that you try to give your child a wide varieties. For example, like certain days you may give banana, the next day you may choose avocado, the next day you might choose apple. That's fine. So as long as that you're giving your child foods from each of these groups for each meal or snack, then you're on the right track. Okay, so now tips for picky eaters. I think that's a very common question on a lot of parents' minds. They say, it is easy to say I can give my child lots of different healthy foods, but my child just won't eat it. What can I do? So for picky eaters, I think the trick is basically be patient. Don't give up too early because there's always an end point that they would sort of give in if you keep trying. What you can do is for older children or even toddler and beyond, you can get them involved in cutting it to smaller pieces or sort of putting it from one plate to another. So get them involved in selecting the food that everyone eats, for example, and then helping to dish it out onto mommy's plate, for example, and basically helping to prepare the meal in an older child. Be creative. So you can see that there's a coconut tree on the top picture. So you can have actually quite a nice option of displaying the food such that your child would actually take to accepting an apple better, for example. So pick different food options. If your child's willing to eat tofu but not fish, try. So you could make a tofu ball with a little bit of fish meat, for example. And the important thing is to set good example as parents. So if parents don't eat vegetables, your child's going to say, okay, my mom doesn't eat vegetables, I'm not going to eat vegetables either. So always try to set a good example and try to get your child involved with every meal. Yeah. So now my next two slides are on probiotics. I get quite a lot of questions from parents about probiotics. So that's something that has been a very hot topic, I would say, in the last 10, 20 years. A huge interview survey done in the US in this decade basically shows that a lot of children between the ages of 4 to 17 have used probiotics in the 1 month just before the survey. Now, it just shows that probiotics are in use greatly. And what exactly are probiotics? So they're actually good germs that are intended to have good health benefits when they're consumed. So I think all of you would have heard of this term called good gut health. So you know that what you put into your body, okay, equals to what comes out and also what it sort of aims to do. So you eat healthily and you would be healthy. So a lot of things is basically related to what we digest in our system. And there is always some natural bugs in our gut system, and that's called the microbiome. So there's a whole sort of ecosystem going around in our gut. good bacteria, some bad bacteria, and they're constantly changing according to how our health is and what we eat and what we put into our body. So there's natural probiotics found in certain foods like kimchi, yogurt, fermented products. There's always some probiotics in these foods. So what do probiotics help to do? So probiotics basically help to balance out the good bacteria and the bad bacteria in our gut. If this sort of balance, this good balance and bad balance have been disturbed, for example, by an illness, or if let's say your child hasn't been eating well for whatever reason, basically probiotics may help your body sort of recover quicker and bring it back to a healthy condition again after that balance has been disturbed. Now, I think probiotics has also been widely studied in the area of immune system. You know, in this day and age where infections are particularly sort of important, not just COVID, but basically lots of infections that are new and being discovered every day. We want a good immune system, and probiotics is a field that, you know, is up and coming. There's lots of research in this aspect where they found that probiotics may actually alter the body's immune response. Now, in babies and children who has lots of gut complaints, so for example, if they start off early with colic, a lot of bloatedness, gassiness, an older child can present with constipation or tummy pains, or the stools are just not regular, or if your child has had a course of antibiotics recently for an illness, then this may be the group of children that may benefit from probiotics. Now, some parents choose to give probiotics even to a child who's otherwise healthy. I think as long as you have the knowledge and you are happy to sort of start it, I think that's fine. I think it really depends on what the target issue is and basically what you've chosen to put in your child's diet. So nothing beats a healthy diet, but you know, in children, sometimes, you know, illnesses, picky eaters, I think these are some of unavoidable stages in their life. So this may be the times when you may have to sort of look to probiotics to help in that sense. So there's still lots of ongoing research, all right? So do check with your child's doctor if you need more information or if you want to check suitability, because there are just so many choices. So you want to be picking the right one. Yeah. Okay, so the other thing about ensuring that your child remains healthy and stays healthy, okay, vaccinations. I've mentioned the flu vaccine earlier. So there are a lot of recommended vaccines in the guidelines in Singapore. So every country is different. So you know that your child starts vaccinations right from the time your child is born in the nursery, and then you have to follow up with the regular vaccines. So there are some optional ones, for example, rotavirus vaccine, as well as the influenza vaccine. So do read up a bit more, do discuss it with your pediatrician, and vaccinations are important for your child, okay? The last three words that I've highlighted, okay, so good practices like washing hands, I think that one everyone knows with current COVID situation. So hand hygiene, exercise regularly, so that's very important. And the last topic is sleep, which I will share with you more because that's my favorite topic, okay? All right, so exercise. So preschoolers, you need at least about 3 hours of activity, okay, preferably spread out throughout the day. Lots of outdoors equals lots of sunshine, and that equals the vitamin D, but please stay away during the hottest times of the day, so between 11 to 2. You don't really want to expose your child to the hottest sun at those times, okay? I know during circuit breaker, everyone was indoors. There was a lot less activity than we should be getting. So children were affected, definitely adults as well. So now that things are a little bit more relaxed, try to go outdoors, try to limit TV, computer, video games. Always choose outdoor activity versus an indoor activity, all right? And if you're choosing presents or gifts for your children, choose one that encourages activity. For example, a frisbee or a ball or a kite, something that makes them know that, you know, going outdoors is something fun. So get the whole family involved. So a trip to the shopping mall can be sort of substituted by a trip to the park, for example. Okay. All right, so sleep. Okay, so sleep is my favorite topic. So tips for parents. Okay, so your child, it really depends on the age of your child, whether you have a baby or whether you have a toddler or whether you have got a preschooler or a primary school age child. The amount of sleep that your child needs, okay, is quite different. And I usually say that it's very important to have a good quality and quantity of sleep. So the number of hours is important, but it's also important to have good quality sleep. Now, a good thing to start very early on is basically having a bedtime routine, which is winding down time. You have an active child, and now you want a child to fall asleep. That's not possible. You have to do a bit of winding down such that your child goes into a quieter and sleep mode. So it could be something very simple like brushing your teeth, picking the favorite pajamas for the night, read a short story, or sing a song, and then lights out and good night. So it just tells the child that sleep is going to come next, and they do expect that to happen every night. So they just need some predictability. If every night is different, they don't know when they're going to sleep, then that's not something that is ideal. Now, try to keep to regular hours. For example, the body doesn't know that tomorrow is Monday versus tomorrow is Friday or Saturday. So always sort of try to keep to sort of similar hours, even if the next day is a non-school day. Um, have a dim, quiet, and conducive environment for your child to sleep. So if one child is trying to study in a bright lit room, you can't expect another child to be falling asleep in that same room. Sometimes children just need a security toy or a security blanket. So I always say, please offer a favorite pillow or a favorite toy if your child just needs that extra comfort and assurance at bedtime. All right, so I put here in a chart, but I won't go too much into it because we're running a little short of time. So it just basically highlights how much sleep that your child would need at different stages, okay, as your child grows. So you can see that a baby needs a lot more sleep than a toddler and a school age child. And naps also changes as your child grows from a baby to a toddler to a preschool child. Majority of children stop taking naps at 5 years old. Some may still need a short nap in the day. So every child is different. If you find that your child's sleep is not good in terms of quantity or quality, then do get that checked as well with your child's pediatrician.